Hey Stampin' friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's our Fun Fold Friday. Today I'll be making a side step card using our Sweet as a Peach stamp set and awesome DSP. Give it a hold on and flip and we'll get started. All right, be sure to comment if you're here watching live because one lucky person who comments will be the winner of today's card. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So it folds flat like this, and then you can open it up and have it sit out on a tabletop like that. It has these great little valleys or mountains to make a kind of like a fake easel for it. It looks kind of tricky because it has two parts to it, but it's fairly simple and just a couple extra score lines. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'll set that to the side so you can still see it. I am using the Sweet as a Peach stamp set and their matching dies. I have already gone ahead and I've stamped our peach with a stem and die cut that out. And then we're going to use their sayings, have a peachy day, and a couple of these awesome leaves and blossoms to create our side view as well. Hey Margie, glad you're here. Underneath here, I already have my foam mat because this is photopolymer. Let me go ahead and we'll do our stamping first, which is for our basic white piece right here. And what we'll need to do is make sure that we have at least, I think it's about 3 inches, only 2 inches right here of space. It's all that we actually need to stamp in. We're going to go ahead and use our balmy blue for our saying. And you want to do that saying first so you know where to put everything else. I'm using that have a peachy day. We'll ink that up. And we'll put it just about top center on this side. Awesome. And go ahead and put that ink away, although I already got my thumb in the process of grabbing it. Let me see if I can't tap that off so we don't make blue smudges somewhere else. All right. Next, we want to grab our pear piazza. And that's going to be our green. I chose these colors because they match the DSP. And that's how I know exactly what colors to use, that it coordinates and I don't even have to think about it. However, for this one, it's this really cool branchy stamp. It's kind of hard to see, but there's empty spots on it, and it's one giant piece. So when we stamp this one and ink it up, we'll have spots that we need to fill in the place to add our blossoms. And I like to look at it and have it going from this bottom corner, just about like that. And you press. I want to warn you, it looks really weird until it dries because it's the distinctive ink or stamp sets. And so it looks really blotchy right now, but wait for it to dry and you'll see how cool it actually turns out. All right, this is another little stem one. We're just going to use this one to put on the top. We just want a couple extra green spots up here, some leaves. And that works best with just using this littler piece versus that giant branch piece. So just about like that. Looks pretty good. Now on this one, I didn't do it, but if you wanted a place to write a happy message, what I suggest doing is taking that basic white, that same size that we're working on, and put it on the back here. You can even continue stamping on this piece here, and it just kind of hides how we connect those two, and it leaves you a spot to fill in and write on. All right, let's make sure we're looking good still. And let's go ahead and add our blossoms. We'll put our pear away, and I'm going to use our Calypso Coral. So for the blossoms I did on this one, I stamped off once. I'm going to see what it looks like when we go full on strength. And you can see these little like missing stems. We're going to try to connect our blossoms to match where those would be. So I'm going to turn it this way, our bigger blossoms on the furthest end, and I'm going to hold it over and just kind of line it up to where I think it should be. That looks pretty good. What do we think? All right. Awesome. All right, we'll put that ink away. And for these center blossoms, I went ahead and die cut some of the coral out. Part of the dies have these cute little tiny pieces. Let me see if I can find the last one. There we go. And in my sample one, I use basic white, and this one I'm using these cute little, the little coral one. So we're just gonna add a little bit of glue to the center of each one of these blossoms here. And we'll add our flower and let that dry. Just like that. Okay, set that one aside and let's get our main pieces together. So that's it for the stamping, unless you want to do that last back piece. Then we have our DSP, our cute little peach, our stem, or our leaves to go with that. So you'll have 3 pieces of DSP, 2 to go on this coral and 1 to go on our base. Our base here measures at 5.5 by 8, scored at 1, 2, and 5 inches. And, oh, I forgot to show you this. Oh, I'll show you the very end. This card was actually inspired by my friend Lisa Owen, and I'll show you the one she made at the very end. All right. So what we're going to take is our bone folder and go ahead and start creasing that base. We're going to fold this one down. And we're going to grab this one and have it fold up. And then fold it back down. Just like that. Okay. Next, we're going to add our DSP to the front. If it's easier to do that before you scored or you made your bone folder creases, then that's great. But if you didn't know where you were going to put it, if it was going to be on this side or this side, wait until you find all the right creases for it. I'm going to flip my paper over and we're just attach that on. And you want to make sure we do all this attaching before we add our coral piece. So do your balmy blue base first. All right, now we can go ahead and attach this one. And for all these measurements, you can go ahead and look in the comments below after we're done recording. I'll give you my blog link. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the measurements link in the description. If you're new to my channel or new to my Facebook page, welcome. I hope you subscribe or put on the reminder to join me every Friday. All right, that's looking so pretty already. Loving it. That part is done, so we can set that one aside. Next, we grab our 2 pieces of DSP and just put them together. And you can see it's double-sided, so you can pick which way you want it. If I want it to have that blue and then these blossoms, that would look really pretty as well. I do love these gorgeous peaches on here and the coloring on there. Isn't that super pretty? Just love, love that. So I'm going to keep it that way. I know I rarely do that. I usually like to flip it so you can see the difference, but I'm just loving that great balmy blue background and those peaches and the colors, even though I'm covering it with this DSP. I know. Okay, so you have those 2 attached. Now we're going to attach it to this piece here. This one measures a 6 this way and 3 inches this way. And that 6, you could probably even shorten it to maybe 5.5 or even 5 1/4. It just needs to have enough lip to fold over onto the back here. So like I said, my friend gave me this swap recently, and I loved it. And I showed it during my video I did with all the swaps from that time, the fun folds. And this was the one that got the most excitement, called the Side Steps Fun Fold. And I just took her card and broke it apart. I looked at it and said, okay, these are the measurements. All right, for this one, let's go ahead and add a little bit of glue so we can attach our little leaf and stem. And you can either use a glue dot if you don't want to wait. The cool thing about this one is that it can be turned either direction. So if you wanted it to go this way, say I flipped mine around and I've changed my peach from a left to a right peach. Then we're going to add some dimensionals to the back. Probably at least 2 if you're using the larger ones. Remove the backings and we'll attach that to our front here. I always like things not to be straight, so I'm going to put mine just at a little angle. And then we're going to embellish with this awesome blue adhesive back gem. And I went with a lighter one. And we'll put that just in the opposite corner of this direction of the stem. We kind of want it to divide our attention so not everything's only on one side. So depending on which way you flip your stem, just go the opposite for your gem. All right, next what we want to do is attach this to this part here. You could use either liquid glue or seal. I'm going to go ahead and use my seal today so it's an easy attaching and no dry time. But you're going to lay that flat, and it's going to be just corner to corner on that far right side. And make it flush, that when it's standing up, that nothing else will make it in the way. Okay, so we have that part there. We're going to flip it over. Use our bone folder to get this crease nice. And then we're just going to add a little bit of adhesive right here. Next, all we have to do is just shut it and close it to attach to that back. And there we go. That's how easy that is, just attaching those two to create that easel side step look to it. Isn't that super fun? Again, if you want, be sure to add that basic white to the back. So that way you have a place to write a message. And then also let me show you the one my friend made if you missed hers before. This is made by Lisa Owen. Hers, she used the Bloom or You're Planted stamp set and the awesome dies for this one. And it opens up just that same way to have that side step look. All right, you guys, I hope you've had a fun time learning this one and you give it a try. Try it with any of our current Stampin' Up! Products and be sure to shop with me online by using the links below. All right, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.